Welcome to Tabletop Gaming Guild. Tabletop Gaming Guild is all about the experiences members of playing tabletop games with friends and families can create. And today we're looking at Wyrmspan, a 1 to 5 player game designed by Connie Vogelman and published by Stonemaier Games. Now, Wyrmspan was announced as a spiritual successor to the highly successful Wingspan by Elizabeth Hargrave. While it's a different designer, it's the same publisher, so we'll see how much similarity there is between the two games when we go through the overview. Like Wingspan, this is a deceptively simple game. You only have a couple actions you have to worry about, but all the cards are going to have unique effects, so there's really a lot in there, and you need to have a pretty good grasp of board game terminology and iconography to be able to parse the information those cards are telling you. Let's go through the core actions. All your possible actions are printed on this board, as well as your end of turn cleanup. And those actions can be either excavate, entice, or explore. If you're excavating, you're going to play one of your action coins, and then take one of your cave cards and put it into any row. Take note that all these cave cards have effects that generally occur when the card is played. The entice action allows you to pay one of your action coins, and then take one of the dragon cards from your hand, paying the additional cost noted in black, and then placing it in an excavated cave. Again, we should note the abilities on the dragon cards, but we'll come back to that in a moment. The last possible action is explore, in which case you would take your explorer and explore one of your cave systems. Now, each cave system has its own cost system. So the first time you explore a specific cave, it's only going to cost you 1 action token. So what happens when you explore a cave system? Your explorer is going to go from left to right, taking any benefit showing a little explorer on it. And then you continue on getting bonuses until you reach a stop symbol, and then your explorer returns to base camp. Let's jump back to the cards and the possible effects they can have. There are 4 symbols that you will see on your card. There are when played effects that you gain immediately when you play that card, explorer effects that happen when your explorer enters that cave with that card. There are end of round effects and end of game effects. Just make sure you read these cards carefully, because many cards will give you resources or cards you can use later. Other ones will ask you to cash a resource or tuck a card, which are essentially spent but kept with that card for their point value. You can never use these items again. Also, pay attention to where these are coming from, because it may come from the supply or your supply, or it may come from your hand. One major change from Wingspan is you always start the game with 1 egg, and you can store 2 eggs on your board even if you don't have dragons. The round ends once everybody has used all of their action tokens. Everybody's going to start a round with 6 action coins. However, there are various cards that cost extra and various cards that give you back action coins, so not everybody's necessarily going to have the same number of actions each round. At the end of the round, you will trigger any end of round effects, and then score the end of round scoring tokens. After scoring, you would wipe the public cards and refill them. Every player will get 6 more action coins and 1 more egg. This continues for 4 rounds, and after which you would do final scoring. You may now be wondering why I've never talked about Dragon's Guild, because there's no actions that directly impact this. However, there's various board effects as well as card effects that will allow you to advance on this. Anytime you see the symbol noted here, you're advancing on this Dragon Guild, getting the bonus for whatever space you pass through or end in. If you enter one of these brown spaces, you immediately get to put a marker onto the guild card, giving you immediate bonus or potentially endgame scoring. One last thing to note is there's 6 different resources in this game. There's gems, milk, meat, gold, action coins, and eggs, all of which can be acquired through various board and card effects. Managing these resources and the generation of these resources is key to this game. The last thing to note is this is a point salad game, so everything you're gonna do is gonna score you points, and there's a handy guide for scoring at the end of the game. So that is how Wyrmspan is played. It is simultaneously simple to explain and difficult because, well, everything you really need to know is these 3 actions. Understanding the functions of the card effects as well as the board effects, the various rewards you can get, is critical to being able to play this well. Managing your resources and understanding how to get more of a resource that you need is also very critical. That said, let's look at some of the changes they've made. For example, this Dragon's Guild thing is, I really think, a very cool change. It gives you ongoing rewards that are relatively easy to get, even if that's not directly what you're trying to do, as well as aiming for these bonuses can really help for long-term planning. So well, I just need to push it up a couple more steps and I can get this big bonus, so maybe I'm going to focus on that. Starting the game with extra resources and always starting each round with 6 actions made the game a lot more forgiving than Wyrmspan. It also gave a lot of different ways to get various actions. Any of these rows, if you expand them significantly, is also going to give you advancement on guilds as well as let you lay eggs, so you're not reliant on one column. All that is basically done to eliminate the randomness of the die rolling for food in the bird feeder. I can see some people may prefer the luck of the bird feeder and rolling to see what resources are available, but the strategic element of knowing what resources you can produce adds a lot to the game. Overall, I think this is a great game and a great follow-up to Wyrmspan. Does not replace Wyrmspan. I think 90% of the time between the two I will pick Wyrmspan, but I will occasionally go back to Wyrmspan because of the luck elements and the theme and really calming and peaceful, friendly nature of the game. Well, that's my thoughts on Wyrmspan. I hope that gives you an idea whether you're interested in this title. Thank you again for watching. Please join us again on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and other social medias. And please don't forget to like and subscribe.